community is so incredibly important. Regardless of the level of connections or relationships you have, making sure that you are part of one or more communities can be one of the best things, not just for your professional growth, but also for your social health as well. Because it's important to feel like you belong. It's important, yes, of course, to have the group of people who have either similar interests or have similar business objectives or similar experiences. Yes, that's well and great. But again, deep down in our wiring, we need to know that we belong, that we feel like we are part of something greater. And of course, yes, it can maybe be a company or a religious organization, those types of communities as well, usually just with a specific purpose. But joining and being part of communities can matter so much. Now, this might of course be either a time in your life where you are switching to a new career. Maybe you've moved to a new city. Maybe you're just kind of waking up and realizing like, hey, yes, like I know a lot of people, but I'm really seeking that community. And so let's talk about how we can actually find community. Now, there are 3 different ways to think about community. It can be based on proximity. That's a very big one. Yes, like the local neighborhood group or the local entrepreneur organization. Those are fantastic ones. It could be based on your skill set. There are obviously like, online communities or even local communities for copywriters and designers or architects or realtors. So joining part of these communities can matter, or it can be based on your interest, whether it's your sports team or investing. Weird thing about this, by the way, and this is something that you may not realize until later on, is that sometimes it doesn't even matter as much about what brings you together initially. That's what just forms the relationships, but then the relationships take on a whole different form. So case in point, I am part of a group of entrepreneurs who have all sold their business. And so yes, of course, there is a lot of talk around business and technology and investing and what are we going to do next. But there's also this like deeper connection happening over a bunch of people trying to figure out their place on earth. Yes, sometimes it's triggered by having sold a company, but it's also brought about by them just trying to figure out like, what do I do with this next chapter of my life, and who do I really want to be, and am I happy, and how do I find more meaning in life? Completely different than what brought people together. I have a group of entrepreneurs who are all business owners in the local area, and surprisingly, we're no longer talking about marketing and leadership. We are talking about being great parents. We are talking about our own energy. We're talking about health. And so it's really important to find these appropriate groups and belong to them. Now, when it comes to joining a group, we obviously know there's a lot of trepidation. Do I belong? Will I belong? Will they let me in? How do I create that connection? And just remember that everyone there joined the group and went through that same experience. And worst case, what do you have to lose? Maybe you wasted an afternoon. Maybe you wasted a little bit of money. Maybe it just, you had a couple coffee meetings with people that kind of didn't go nowhere and you just drop out after a while or stay silent. That's totally okay. I've joined a few communities that I'm pretty idle on, and I actually don't even proactively check anymore unless someone tells me something to check out in there. And then I have other groups that, to much to my surprise, I joined and now they're incredibly important part of my life. Like I could never imagine leaving it. The other thing to think about is if I can't find my community, my group of people, well, there's a very good chance that other people like me are also in the same situation. So could I create it? Could I just create like a simple text message group? Could I create just a monthly coffee? After attending a bunch of my dinners, a few of us realized that like there are lots of like entrepreneur groups here and founder groups in our area, but we kind of wanted something that was a little bit more intimate and really focused not on people who are figuring out for the first time, but people who knew what they were doing, people who could really support each other and not just kind of give the latest leadership advice that they read on a blog yesterday. but people who really had, that experience. And so we created it. And that's now been, almost like one of the threads that I keep open all day long because I'm actively checking it. And it's become an important part of my community. And we meet up once a month, and it's one of the things I always look to every month. And so there are different ways of approaching community. My recommendation is, regardless of whether it's for your personal health, your social health, your business growth, find a community, at least one, and really jump in with both feet.